So, yeah, spirit be bugging today, for sure. I started the reading, right? Started the reading. Am I gonna get like all the same cards that I've been getting? Is that gonna happen again? Is that gonna happen? Yeah. I pulled 3 cards from tarot first. And 24. I always get 24. I'm on TikTok. This is my first YouTube video. Always get 24. So in numerology, it's nice here because I can take my time. 2 and the 4. And normally, when I see this card, I say 24, and there's so much more. 24, and there's so much more. So like the magician, as the infinite flows through the magician, the magician reduces equivocality between all and creates one thing, one point of consciousness, one being, essentially, that the magician can symbolize that. Okay, so, but another way of looking at it, 24, and there's so much more, in reverse. Okay, so narrowing things down, and 2 is harmony, 4 is stability, 2 plus 4 would be 6, which is harmony in love, with love, doesn't have to be in love. The balance and harmony that love provides, upside down. Okay, so instability. So people feeling, am I giving enough love? Is the love I give, I get, is that appropriate for my path? Is the love reciprocated? I tend to think unreciprocated love would be more in the category of not so much cups, but in the category of wands. So, yeah, love, unreciprocated love, then we get into the range of limerence. So, a certain amount of awareness, a certain amount of awareness is what I said. A certain amount of awareness is helpful. You should still just go with the flow. If spirit moves you, move in how spirit moves you, but you have at least the illusion of choice to say, whoa, hold up, reevaluate. So essentially, some reevaluation is called for. Okay, and the tarot, the eight of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is, it's stability. To me, it's super stability, super home. You carry your home with you. A perfect balance. It's attaining a perfect balance. So, a perfect balance in life, in the physical. Part of what you may be here for is to go through, is to have experience, which ultimately will lead you towards what you could sit in silence and see as perfect balance. All right, and you're the Knight of Swords. That's pretty cool. You're the Knight of Swords, and you're on your way to a new life, and that's true every day, right? Groundhog Day. You're on your way to a new life, and this new life is, you are the one. You are the one driving. You are the choosing one. You're not chosen. You are the higher perspectived, or you're at least introducing yourself, or your higher, wider perspectives are introducing themselves to you, and there is some sort of a unification here, a unification as you move towards that perfect balance, which you seek, which it's likely, if you consider it, let's say if you're seeing this, you from a higher perspective that's outside of time, that's outside of place, you have decided, you're the decider, as George W. Bush would say. It's nice that a lot of people say, okay, stop. Politics, no. I used to pay attention to that stuff big time, but not anymore. And then in the tarot, to get things started, before I pull some oracle cards, the Three of Cups, which is the emergence of an overwhelming feeling. It's not just emerging; it's been you've been experiencing this overwhelming, just overwhelmed. Getting emotional, in both positive and negative ways, but I feel that it's been mostly positive. So with this in reverse, it's not just starting now. I mean, you can look at everything outside of time, but looking at everything through the filter of time, which is what we decided to do coming down here. You're an infinite being. Congratulations. You are solidifying. You're solidifying this the mechanism that is bringing to you into these states of overwhelming feeling, and it's not getting you off course anymore. It's not you're not losing control as much as, or you're not undergoing the illusion of losing control as much as you have been. So that's good. And first, I'm going to pull from these cards, which are runes, which are attached to animals, which are attached to the meaning of the runes, and start from there. I always get this card. I think it was on upside down. So this is Jera. Justice, harvest, justice, diligence. I have a lot of problem, and no one's gotten back to me on this, by the way, on TikTok. Maybe because there's no real people on there, but anyway. The Justice card. I always get the Justice card and the Judgment card confused. I can't wrap my head around the concepts. I feel that there are historical meanings to these two trump cards, which would lead to a certain amount of insight, but I have yet to set aside the time to do that, and or I have not come across any kind of information online, or from higher to give me clarity on that. So right now I feel like I personally am not meant to have clarity on that, and maybe you are not either. Like, what is justice anyway? What is a healthy sense of justice for us as we move through this place? And you're doubting your diligence. You're doubting your ability to navigate in a responsible manner. Okay, so that's becoming a theme, and I'm attempting to shift this because I'm relatively new to this. So I'm attempting to just keep this a bit out of my own read so that I can give you a more objective picture, with focus on you, the viewer. Okay, so as I pull these cards, and I'm pulling cards so that people can see, because I realize that I'm getting so many of the same cards, twos, others, and 2 is master, the master of spiritual master. 3 would be spiritual teacher, would be a step beyond, and I see 3s too, and I keep getting that in readings too. So, but for you, where are we? Where are we? Now this deck is, this is the Shaman's something. I can't remember. But this is about the path, the Shaman's path. It is, the path that we are all on. We are all on. And the shaman, this is for the healed shaman. I'm going to take this. The higher self. So, upright. I generally don't take reverse on this, but upright, the higher self. The higher self. So, you are merging with the higher self. You are maturing in your spiritual growth. You are contemplating, when to say, or you're solidifying your ability to say no thank you, along with your ability to say thank you to praise, no thank you to requests from others or projections from others. You're learning how to protect yourself. You're learning how to give and connect with others. And that's good. That's good. So next, we'll pull from this astrology deck here, which I don't know much about astrology. I don't want to spend time learning much about astrology, but I do think it's important because so many people are thinking about it, and there's so much established work out there that that can't be ignored. And I also feel that there are clues to the cosmos that we, if you're listening to this, and your cosmos actually could be different from mine, starkly different from mine, even if you're hearing this. And what I mean by that is, you think that if you think that the planets revolve around the sun, and I think that we are on a never-ending plane, square. Don't be such a square, man. Yeah, the Earth is a square. Well, there are people who think that actually, that we're in some type of a holographic. Okay, that's a good indication, but it did come up in upside down. That we are in some kind of a holographic situation in which, the everything that we see is some type of a representation of something more than what is like an objective reality. So there are projections coming at us from 4 sides of the square, creating the illusion of a physical world. And a lot of the people who talk about that, I feel, are the prison situation people. We're in a prison. We can't get out. We've got to ascend together so we can get out of this prison. And I'm sympathetic towards that. But I'm not on that train. I spent some time on that train, but the whole time I was on that train, I was like, wait a second. No way. What? But so you feel that. So what I was saying before, it's possible that we could be in a square, we could be on a vast plain, where a crater, right? This thing that is the liquid that oil comes from, and it's an inexhaustible supplies beneath us, but a drip or a burst of energy from above came down onto the plain, and I recognized this when I was on the beach, and on the beach that I was on, the sand was very fine, and it was raining. So the drops, as they fell from the sky, as I sat under a tree, created perfect craters. So I feel that somehow the substance fell from above, landing on the plain, creating a crater, and that crater, and then the liquid or the energy of whatever this drop was that created the crater soaked into the earth, into the ground, into the terra, and that energetic lifeblood created an energetic barrier above, and it also creates the energy that comes up from below us and then reflects back on us in the form of the moon, the sun. That's why people in astrology talk about the stars, the moon, the sun, and then the planets. And all the planets are just more reflection of wider aspects. And the reason why we're seeing that is because of the energy from below differentiating from the energy above. And that's where the idea of the dome comes from. Because I ran into a guy from NASA, and I was an interrogator in the Army. So I was in the depths. I was on the Appalachian Trail. I was in the depths, the dark depths of my conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, he wouldn't answer. I asked him, what's the cosmological model that, you'd think that some NASA Air Force general who worked most of his career at NASA would be able to verify to me that there is a sun and planets that go. All he would say to me was, Doc, we're in a bubble. That's all I know. We are in a bubble. So anyway, but my point is, I'm talking to you, you're hearing me. I feel like we might be in a bubble. You're feeling like we are in maybe a matrix, a digital matrix, a holographic something or other, or a solar system. It could be. Think about it. The complexity of this system, the infinite system that we're in. It could be that there's no one who's wrong. Something to think about. But anyway, let's pull from this Don't Get Lost Out There deck. Don't get lost out there. It's easy to get lost. Or do get lost out there. Let's see what we pull. You always know that when you get lost one way or another, you're gonna get found, or you're gonna find. Right? Interesting. These aren't all GPS oriented cards, but they're intended to teach survival methods in the wilderness, or anywhere really. So this card is it's the Seven of hearts, which I feel is the Seven of Cups, and it explains GPS coordinates, which is interesting based on what we were just talking about. The GPS coordinates are how you, or GPS systems, find your location, because every location has a number assigned to it. A number assigned to it. So everything that we perceive is numerical. Everything that we perceive, every number, its difference has a different vibration. Everything is, you are a vibratory complex. The place where you are is a vibration, is a vibe. One of the best creators on TikTok, he'll just say, I am the vibe. He's the best. So, Seven of Cups is, and this is, don't get lost out there. Okay? You won't get lost. You won't get lost. You're not lost. You're not at all lost. This would be, yeah, kind of lost. You're not lost. So, yeah, Seven of Cups. Is it possible to act out of pure love and not out of baser tendencies? And you're realizing, to stay consistent here with everything else, you're realizing that yes, it is possible. Yes. You're not lost. You're on the right path. You know where you are. Believe in where you are, even if it's totally different from where I feel I am. You're not lost. You're not lost. You're connecting with higher self. But still, there is that, this is my intuitive confusion, not really so much based on fear. This is fear. This is the immediacy of the moment. This is extreme doubt leading to confusion. But it's more back here. I'm feeling what you're feeling back here. It's more on the right path, but still, like, what? Every day you're like, whoa, what? Whoa and what? So this deck is I had to inject something negative into my group of cards. Fear of separation. Loss paves the way for rebirth. Came in upside down. Fear of separation. So maybe the way to go to, you're moving towards integration. You're moving towards understanding what scientists are understanding now. Superimposition, quantum blah blah blah, which is all just what? But I feel like science is catching up with spirituality, and you are ahead of science, and don't doubt that, because people will throw that at you and throw their doubt at you. But you know that you don't have to be afraid of that which is outside of you. You are the infinite. You are both the infinite and an aspect of the infinite at the same time. Because time, for other reasons, time is just an illusion. Time is just something that you, as the infinite, the one, and in another aspect, we are all one, but that you, only you, as the one, are aware that the separation, that the sphere of separation is not founded, and it's only something that you had, past tense, in order to inform what you are now. something that from a high enough perspective you always knew, and you're not reinventing the wheel. The wheel's already been invented. The wheel has always been invented. There's never been a time when there was no wheel. So you are coming to realize that you're creating the situation in which you experience the invention of all of this. You experience the journey that has always been, always will be, always in the ever present now. Everything is, it all is, all is. You know, I remember reading the labels on the soap, the Dr. Bronner, is it? Soap. And before I never, what the fuck is this? Now if I, could see, I would read it and I know that I would be like, oh yeah, now I get it. But don't have any regret for the past. I gotta turn the heat down. You don't have to feel regret for all the shit that you had wrong for so long, right? Because the actual biggest reason, every reason that you have is the biggest, but from a certain perspective, seeing things from a certain perspective, the biggest reason why you came down here was to have everything fucked up, and then to experience having everything not fucked up. So that's what you're doing. That's what you're here for. That's what you're experiencing. And it's a gift that you're giving to yourself as the infinite, as the all. The all is expressing an opportunity to express the infinite all through this limited vessel with its limitations of what we call psychic abilities, and its limitations of the ability to connect with the higher perspectives of consciousness, and to reduce that just a little bit, the human collective. If you buy into those Jungian ideas about the collective unconscious, that the collective unconscious is really the source of being able, and it's different levels, human, and then above human, or and then lower sub aspects of human, maybe culture, individual cultures, or individual genders. It's like a tree. So, well, let's move on. I could get lost in that. Oh, shit. Making it quick. Psilocybin mushrooms. Used to love mushrooms. Well, I don't think I would seek psilocybin, but psilocybin really it's in this deck they present it as a medicine. It's a medicine that can create the impression that that there's a heightened expansion of awareness. So I feel this card comes up to remind us that you're already doing that. It's just that you're forgetting that you're doing that. You're doing that all the time. And that heightened awareness of consciousness, that different way of looking at things that the psilocybin provides is really something that you can do without the medicine. So the times to use medicine are as you as you grow into yourself, not grow, period. As you grow back into yourself, that always is, you recognize that You need less in order to get to the in order to expand your consciousness and to feel that connection. And there's one more deck here that I want to look at, and it's the it's Celtic stories. So Celtics, I think they're important because I enjoy stories that speak of them as survivors of the cataclysm that destroyed Atlantis, and because they were in the highlands of, which aren't very high, but their civilization was strong enough to survive the cataclysm. I feel probably because they were able to go underground. But then that opens up a whole new can of worms. But I feel they're important because we do have a good amount of information left about them, and I think they're pre-flood. I don't know. Whoop, woo. Oh, nice. Okay, pre-flood. 17. It's got a story. There's some story. I'm not going to look it up, but the boar, fearless in conflict, just fearless, just unrelenting power. Maybe not so focused. So maybe that's you. You're recognizing your power. You're engaging in activities that harness that power, and the fear is not gone, because in this life, some fear, you go from fear to not fear, which is awesome. Fear, oh my God. Or, before, you endless thought cycles, or when you used to be afraid, you react physically, sweating, or inability to speak, or this, that, because you feel like the circumstances aren't vibing, because you're not vibing with the circumstances. But now the fear that you still have, which is good, which is it comes and it goes. Like, why am I not nervous now? Why am I not afraid now? Because you are more on the path. You're not totally, you're not done. It's not time to pack your shit up and get the fuck out of here. It may be, and if you stuck along, that's cool. And watch this, that's cool. But I feel like going back to the rest of the stuff, there's still more. Okay, there's still more. There's still room to grow. If you're having doubts, if you're having doubts about your ability to love, maybe another way of looking at this is, feelings that you have aren't so overwhelming anymore. They're still there. They still have the context. They still have the texture of the old, but it's like the old has been repackaged into, nicer, fluffier, more interesting, more exciting, more. You're better able to handle and weather things. Fearless in conflict's just an illusion in oneness. Conflict is a game. Conflict is opportunity to experience things in new ways that in this form you've forgotten about. You just don't remember. You don't remember because you don't want to. You'll remember when you want to, when it's time. Spirit is guiding you through that. And trust the signs. Trust the signs, trust all the signs, but be aware of the signs that create the endless thought cycles. Oh, I don't know what to do. I can't stand this not doing the right thing. Why are you like this? If the word why, just meditate for like 3 fucking hours and get rid of that. I feel like I've said that before. I feel like I have a memory of saying that before, or I feel like I can feel someone hearing me say that. And then the intuitive thoughts. I think it's all intuition. I have to work on my wording with that. But there's the thoughts that create the endless thought cycles, the things that inject into your mind. They come from nowhere. They come from spirit. They really come from nowhere, though, because there is no where. Everything is completely superimposed on. Separation is an illusion. But so the endless thought cycles that come, they create their control of self. I'm losing control of myself. I'm losing control of my family. I'm losing control of my significant other. I'm losing control of my dog. My cat. My cat's. My cat controls me. I mean, I don't have a cat. I'd like to have a cat. But the other types of thoughts that will enter you, and in the divine way that they do, because all is divine. The divine plan is set. No matter how nebulous, there is a divine plan, and an aspect of you that is higher, wider, not better, just higher, wider, came up with every exacting detail of it, and the only real control that you have is as the observer in your interpretation. And as the observer, you can observe things however you want, and you can also enjoy the illusion of being able to bend that destined path. And if you search yourself, you'd find that, yeah, that's really what I would want. I am an infinite being. I know all. I am all. I want to experience less. And just close out with a story about a video I saw a long time ago where the being has just died, goes up, completes the world review with another with a mirrored copy. That for purposes of the video, they have a conversation. The person looking back thinks or talks about how, wow, that was crazy. Oh, I can't believe that happened. I can't believe I got through that. And then there's no resentment. There's no trauma. There's just the story as seen from the observer's perspective, but also just like those thoughts that come into your head that are there. They come in soft. They come in, or they can come in pretty loud, but they're not. You can set it aside, put it on the table at will, and then go finish up doing whatever, and then come back to those thoughts. The fear thoughts hit, and they go, they're just bing, bing, bing. You can't set shit aside when you're having those fear thoughts, unless you drink your face off, or keep a bong to your left all day long, just in case you need it. So you are, you're growing. You're growing back into yourself. I see hope and faith. I see challenges yet to come, but the overall picture is is that of a spiritual journey that a still somewhat limited aspect of your infinite self will look back on after it's done, or after the illusion of it being done is being experienced by a higher aspect of you, and you'll look back and you'd be like, yeah, nice.